Blue Jays Nation, did you really think Max Scherzer was hanging up his cleats after that heartbreaking Game 7 loss? Think again. The Mad Max bombshell just dropped today, and it's shaking the entire baseball world. Blue Jays Nation, can you believe this twist? Our 1-year-old warrior, who nearly carried us to glory, is making a decision that could flip the whole 2026 landscape upside down. I'm talking about the move that has every GM in the league scrambling their phones right now. Today, we reveal the shocking announcement that could redefine not just Toronto baseball, but Max Scherzer's legendary Hall of Fame legacy. If you're a true fan of the Blue Jays, who just lived through the most heartbreaking World Series in decades, you won't want to miss a second of today's bombshell updates. Smash that like, drop a comment with your prediction, and subscribe because this story is about to get wild. Look, let me paint you the picture of where we stand right now. 24 hours ago, we were all mourning that devastating Game 7 loss to the Dodgers. The Blue Jays came within 3 outs of their first World Series championship since those magical back-to-back wins in '92 and '93. We're talking about the closest this franchise has been to glory in over 3 decades. Our boys fought tooth and nail through the entire playoffs, and Mad Max Scherzer was the backbone holding it all together. But here's where the season gets put into perspective. The Blue Jays finished the regular season with 94 wins, capturing the AL East Division title for the first time since 2015, beating out the Yankees on a head-to-head tiebreaker in a dramatic final game of the season. Our pitching rotation had been inconsistent all year long, with question marks surrounding everyone except Scherzer. The offense was streaky at best, with Vlad Jr. carrying most of the load while guys like Gurriel and Springer battled through injuries. Our division championship gave us home field advantage throughout the AL playoffs, but the road to the World Series still went through powerhouse teams. We were battling for the division lead all season long with the Yankees, and honestly, many people didn't expect us to capture the AL East crown in such dramatic fashion. The Rogers Center faithful watched this team struggle through a brutal summer where we looked more like those rebuilding years from 2017 to 2019. Remember when we were trading away every piece that wasn't nailed down? It felt like deja vu watching our offense go cold for weeks at a time. The pressure from the fan base was mounting. John Schneider was getting questioned left and right about his bullpen management. Even the front office was catching heat for not making enough moves at the trade deadline. But then Mad Max happened. When the Blue Jays signed Scherzer to that 1-year, $15.5 million deal in free agency, half of Jays Nation was skeptical. Here's a 1-year-old pitcher coming off his worst statistical season with a 5.19 ERA. People were calling it a desperation move. The rumors were flying that we overpaid for a has-been who was chasing one last payday. According to John Heyman and multiple insiders around the league, teams were shocked that Scherzer even wanted to keep playing. There were whispers that his arm was cooked, that Father Time had finally caught up to the 3-time Cy Young winner. Some executives were questioning whether he could even make it through a full season without breaking down. The medical reports weren't promising, and his velocity had dropped significantly from his prime years. Now here's where this story takes a complete 180-degree turn that nobody saw coming. After that gutsy Game 7 performance where Scherzer went 4 1/3 innings, allowed just 1 run, and left with the lead, something changed. This wasn't the washed-up veteran everyone expected. This was vintage Mad Max stepping up in the biggest moment imaginable. But here's the kicker that's got the entire baseball world buzzing today. Instead of riding off into the sunset after coming so close to that elusive championship, Max Scherzer just dropped the bombshell of all bombshells. The man looked reporters dead in the eye and said, "I can't see how that's the last pitch I've ever thrown." Before we dive deeper into what this means for the Blue Jays and the entire 2026 landscape, smash that like button if you bleed blue and white. Because what I'm about to break down next is going to change everything you thought you knew about this situation. Here's what most people don't understand about Scherzer's mindset right now. This isn't just about money or personal glory. The man tasted something special in Toronto that he hasn't felt in years. He saw how close this young Blue Jays core came to breaking that championship drought. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is entering his prime after signing that massive 14-year, $500 million extension in April, the largest contract in franchise history. George Springer still has gas left in the tank. The farm system is loaded with talent coming up from Buffalo. From a roster construction standpoint, bringing Scherzer back gives the Blue Jays exactly what they've been missing: a legitimate ace who knows how to perform in October. Look at his Game 7 numbers. 4 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 1 walk, 1 earned run, 3 strikeouts. That's not the stat line of a finished pitcher. That's the performance of a guy who still has championship-level stuff when it matters most. Tactically, John Schneider knows exactly how to maximize Scherzer's effectiveness. We saw it throughout the playoffs, where they managed his pitch count perfectly, used him in the right situations, and built the entire rotation around his experience. Having that veteran presence in the clubhouse is invaluable for a young team that's still learning how to win at the highest level. The financial implications are fascinating too. Scherzer proved he's worth every penny of that $15.5 million investment. If anything, his playoff performance probably increased his market value heading into 2026. Teams are going to be lining up to sign a pitcher who can still deliver in Game 7 of the World Series at 41 years old. But wait, there's a twist coming that changes this entire narrative. The question isn't whether Scherzer wants to keep playing. The real question is whether he wants to stay in Toronto or test the open market. And that decision could determine whether the Blue Jays become legitimate World Series contenders again or fall back into mediocrity. Think about the scenarios here. If Scherzer re-signs with Toronto, they remain strong favorites to repeat as AL East champions. You pair his veteran leadership with the emerging talent on this roster and the momentum from this World Series run, and suddenly, the Blue Jays are the team everyone else is still chasing. But if he signs somewhere else, Toronto loses their ace and goes back to having major question marks in their rotation. The timing of this announcement is crucial too. Free agency is about to heat up, and every contending team that needs pitching is going to be making calls to Scherzer's agent. The Dodgers just beat us, but they know how effective he was against them. The Yankees always have money to spend. The Astros are always looking for veteran arms. This could turn into a bidding war that the Blue Jays might not be able to win. Here's what's happening behind the scenes that most fans don't realize. Scherzer's performance in Game 7 wasn't just about personal pride. It was a statement to the entire league that he's still got elite stuff left in that right arm. Teams that counted him out are now scrambling to get back in the conversation. Front offices that didn't even consider him a few weeks ago are suddenly rethinking their entire offseason strategy. The Blue Jays front office has to be feeling the pressure right now. They know they have a championship-caliber roster, but only if they can keep the pieces together. Losing Scherzer would be a massive blow to their World Series aspirations, but overpaying to keep him could handcuff their ability to address other needs on the roster. Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins are probably working the phones as we speak, trying to figure out what it's going to take to bring Mad Max back to Toronto. The fan base is demanding they do whatever it takes. The ownership group knows how close they came to that championship revenue. This isn't just about baseball, this is about business and legacy. So here's the bottom line that every Blue Jays fan needs to understand. Max Scherzer's decision to keep playing isn't just about one more season. It's about whether Toronto can build on the momentum from this incredible playoff run or watch it all slip away. The next few weeks are going to determine the direction of this franchise for years to come. Blue Jays Nation, I want to hear from you in the comments below. Do you think Scherzer should come back to Toronto? Are you willing to pay whatever it takes to keep him in blue and white? Or do you think it's time to move on and invest that money elsewhere? Drop your thoughts below and let's get this discussion going. And if you want to stay on top of every single development in this story, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Because this offseason is about to get absolutely wild, and you won't want to miss a single update. Until next time, keep bleeding blue and white, and remember, we're still Canada's team.